Hello everyone, this is Fantasy-esque and welcome back to Royal Clan in ClanGen, the Warrior Cats clan generator game. When we left off in the previous episode, we had a wonderfully surprising announcement from the king's new consort, who is now pregnant. So she is expecting a precious litter of kittens, which I am so excited for. I hope it is a big litter, or at least two, at least give me 2 kittens. Then I will be happy as can be. And it would be even sweeter if we had some females in the batch as well. But, you know, it's okay. It is what it is. Right, let us go ahead and continue on to the leader's den, because today is exciting, not only because the pregnancy is progressing, but because our 2 little kittens, Quill Kit and Frost Kit, are going to be turning into adolescents. They're going to be apprentices, they're going to have mentors assigned, and I cannot wait. So let's go ahead and... oh, Fernstar is not feeling too good. Oh, that's right, he has white cough. So Scorchmoss is going to be handling the next gathering, but let's see what direction they decide to take and roll the dice. Okay, so I got a 6 for the D10, so that's Ice Clan, and we got a 3 for the D8, which is an offend. Let's go ahead and skip a moon. Scorchmoss takes her chance at the gathering to tell Ice Clan's leader that Royal Clan stands alone. Ice Clan's leader approves of her strength and independence and tells her that the alliance is stronger than ever. Ice Clan relations have improved. You know what? I feel like this has happened a few times with Ice Clan. I wonder if it's because they're bloodthirsty. So when we offend them, they take that as a expression of strength instead of rudeness, which I think is fascinating. Buttercupfin, oh no, has gotten white cough. Flare Freckle has gotten a stomach ache. White cough is dangerous. Now we have 2 cats that have white cough. Inkfeather hopes the litter will be small. She feels overwhelmed at the idea of a big litter. She doesn't believe she can efficiently perform her duties while expecting kids and decides to move into the nursery. Watching with pride as Quillpaw is named and given to Shining Stripe to apprentice under. Smokewater knows that he was a good choice. Okay, so Quillpaw is going to be trained by his uncle Shining Stripe, which is really, really cool. And Frostpaw fidgets impatiently beside Bearpelt as he waits for the meeting to end. He's finally an apprentice. He wants to hurry up and get out there and go, go, go. Okay, I don't know if I'm misinterpreting this, but is Bearpelt gonna be the mentor for Frostpaw? Wait, so are you telling me King Fernstar decided, this is kind of perfect, Fernstar decided that the 2 kittens are gonna be trained by their uncles? Oh, I love this. 2 kittens, 2 uncles. This is the best. This makes me feel so happy. Because, family bonding time and all of that. I'm excited to see the dynamic of these 2. Or these 4, I should say. Frostpaw had a bad fall while taking a walk through the territory, returning to camp sore and bruised. I want to take a look at my apprentices, guys. Let's take a look at them. So we have a Quillpaw over here, who is loyal. Okay, and an avid play fighter, so he's gone from being self-conscious to being loyal. He feels like a very, mature sort of cat. Not not oddly mature or adult-like, but he feels like he is a good cat, who's growing up with a good sense of responsibility and a good sense of family. And I love the fact that Shining Stripe is righteous and Quillpaw is loyal, so I feel like Shining Stripe might be able, and it's kind of cool because Shining Stripe is the older uncle and he got the older nephew. Oh, this is amazing. And I think he will be able to impart some morals to Quillpaw and give him a firmer sense of direction and self, especially when it comes to his connection to his family members. His loyalty to his family. So that is really, really fun. And then we have Frostpaw, who is bold. Okay, so this is actually the perfect pairing if you think about it. Because Frostpaw, so we have the loyal cat, the loyal apprentice with the righteous uncle, and then you have the bold apprentice, the bold nephew, with the shameless uncle. Isn't that such a good match? So Frostpaw's gone from being fearless to being really bold, going out there, doing what he wants. If he's curious about something, he goes and investigates. He's not gonna hang back and use caution. And Bearpelt, he's shameless. So I feel like Bearpelt is the type of uncle who would say, who cares if someone thinks you're weird? If you're curious, just go do it, you know? Like, who cares if you look funny doing that or you look funny learning this new trick? It's gonna serve you in the future, so just do it, you know, get through it. I love that. And Frostpaw, likewise, is not gonna be shy about anything. And I think he wouldn't be embarrassed by a lot of what his uncle does. Like, if his uncle does something shameless, he'd be like, well, that's just my uncle. I can't do anything about it. Okay, I love it. This is so good. This is like the best pairings I've ever seen. In terms of who has the advantage out of the two of them, it seems as though the younger brother, Frostpaw, has the advantage because Bearpelt, even though Bearpelt has never actually taught anyone, he's got, as a prince, he has more experience than his brother Shining Stripe, who has taught an apprentice before. So that's really interesting. Frostpaw has the advantage over here. Quillpaw not so much, but their personalities are really compatible with their mentors and uncles, and I love that so much. Okay, so let's go to the medicine cat den. So Fernstar, so both of these cats have the white cough, that's right. King Fernstar was given Tansy as treatment for white cough. Flailstorm gathered Bettany this moon. And let's take a look at the relationships. King Fernstar is making up a new clan with Shadefleck. King Fernstar and Flare Freckle spend some time together and nearly forget what made them upset with one another in the first place. Scorch Moss hesitantly asks to exchange Fresh Kill with King Fernstar. King Fernstar agrees since Scorch Moss is his favorite kind anyways. Okay, it's good to see that the king and his right hand are actually getting along well, and that means they'll be able to work together properly, even if, I'm pretty sure last time when we looked at it, the king's court is split in loyalty. I think Icicle Speck, the matchmaker, is the only one actually loyal to the king. The other two cats, like Scorch Moss and Flailstorm, so the Royal Physician and King's Hen, they aren't actually loyal to the king. But I think that might give us like a good sense of balance. But it seems as though, even though Scorch Moss is not loyal, she gets along, like she can work well with the king. Scorch Moss is proud to be in the same clan as Bearpelt. This is... Wait, hold on. Oh, okay. I was gonna say, are they related? No. Sometimes I mix up Scorch Moss with her only son, which is Shadefleck. She only has the one because, you know, she had 3 as well, and I keep forgetting that 2 of them have passed on. Okay, Icicle Speck has drawn the ire of Frostkit by deliberately taking the last of his favorite nesting materials for himself. So at this point, the apprentice ceremonies hadn't happened yet. Frostkit flicked some sand over Icicle Speck's fresh kill while he was eating. Flailstorm argues with Shadefleck in front of other cats and reveals something embarrassing. Flailstorm, Shining Stripe, and Bearpelt had a nice talk while eating. Flailstorm warns Quillkit about something on the ground so Quillkit doesn't trip. Smokewater notices that Flailstorm always gets better fresh kill to eat. Smokewater got a bunch of cats up for morning stretches, they didn't like it. Smokewater is frustrated by his favorite son Frostkit, but hears him crying alone and immediately feels guilty. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. You know, Frostkit, for someone who's not really afraid of much, or wasn't when he was a kitten, I wonder if the first time he actually felt fear was, or concern, like worry, was when his apprentice ceremony was approaching, and maybe he got overwhelmed with the idea of like who he would get as a mentor, and maybe that's why he was crying on his own. It's still so sad. But I think he got really happy and encouraged when he found out that his uncle Bearpelt was going to be his mentor, and same thing for his brother when he found out that, you know, the other uncle Shining Stripe was going to be his older brother's mentor. It's like the best scenario. I just love it. Now I want to live in a world. I want to live in everything right now is like, I don't know, I'm seeing sparkles. Like, I want to live in this grotto right now. I want to witness, like actually witness Frostkit and his brother Quillkit being trained by Shining Stripe and Bearpelt, their uncles. Like, I want to do that. Or I want to read a book. Like, I want to read a book with this situation. I want to read a book about them, guys. I'm like so invested now. Okay, Buttercup Finn and Icicle Speck find out they have nice conversations when they aren't bickering. Buttercup Finn, Flailstorm, and Scorchmoss had a nice talk while eating. Shadefleck motivated Buttercup Finn to get out of her nest this morning. Buttercup Finn can't imagine any other cat. Wait, what? Hold on a second. Buttercup Finn can't imagine any cat other than King Fernstar as her mate. Buttercup Finn, what are you talking about? You're mated to Flailstorm. You have rejected, well, not officially rejected, but you know, your romance with Fernstar fizzled out, even though he's still pining after you, but that's not the point. He has taken on a mate for himself. She is his consort. She's in the nursery expecting kittens that they're going to have in the next episode. Like, what are you thinking? What about Flailstorm? I thought you completely, swept off your paws by him. What's going on? Buttercup Finn? Guys, do you think Buttercup Finn was kind of... maybe Flailstorm was a novelty, and she really did, like, her interest in Fernstar, like, fizzled because one king is just like the other king, like, all kings are the same type thing. But what if, now that Inkfeather is in the picture and Inkfeather is the consort, Buttercup Finn is kind of remembering her consort days, and she's kind of being drawn again, not to King Fernstar, but what King Fernstar, or being his mate, is going to give her, which is the title of consort. I don't know. This is so messy. Icicle Speck gives Shining Stripe a big piece of fresh kill. So the mates are spending time together, and Icicle Speck finally, after I feel like not really doing much, is making some headway with Shining Stripe. Like, he's actually going out of his way to do something for his mate. Flare Freckle and Icicle Speck enjoy each other's company. Bear Pelt is grateful that Shadefleck has kept a secret of his. Okay. So Bear Pelt and Shadefleck are the ones who... right, they're the ones who have a thing going on. And it seems as though Bear Pelt... I wonder what secret he told Shadefleck. The only secret he has, really, is that his rivalry with Icicle Speck has turned into more than a rivalry, and he feels guilty towards his brother because his brother is in love with Icicle Speck and made it to him, but Bear Pelt can't get Icicle Speck out of his mind. And he's telling that to Shadefleck, who is supposed to be pursuing. But Shadefleck also was split between Icicle Speck and Bear Pelt. Like, they had, a prince love triangle going on, so I don't know. Maybe they're bonding over this. Bear Pelt got a bunch of cats out for morning stretches, and they didn't like that. Shadefleck thinks that Icicle Speck is acting overly dramatic lately. Inkfeather and Smokewater keep making each other yawn. Quillpaw learns a helpful skill from Frostkit. Okay, so at this point they've had their apprentice ceremonies, or well, Quillpaw has had his. And then Frostpaw has his. Frostpaw and Buttercup Finn plan all their days together. Oh, that's so cute! So Frostpaw went to visit his grandmother after his ceremony, and I think he was getting some advice, like planning his apprentice days ahead and all of that, which is so sweet. But okay, that's all we have for the events, so let me cut the recording here and we'll continue with the cat list. Okay, time for us to continue with the cat list. So, first up we have loyalties, where there has been a change. So, Shiny Stripe, who has been quite loyal to King Fernstar for a while, I think ever since his sister Flarefreckle gave birth, he's been loyal to Fernstar because his sister and being loyal to the king wasn't a conflict of interest anymore, because Shining Stripe is quite protective of his sister. But now that he's become a mentor, it seems as though Shining Stripe has decided to become an anti-loyalist over here, because I think he's a little bit worried about whether or not King Fernstar is a good example for his apprentice Quillpaw. And so I think Shining Stripe wants to take a step back from kind of blindly following King Fernstar, or I suppose Shining Stripe is not the type to blindly follow, but still, he wants to take a step back from that and he doesn't want to cloud Quillpaw's judgment as Quillpaw is learning more about his world and learning more about Royal Clan and the forest and the grotto. So I think that's what's happening with Shining Stripe. I mean, we'll have to see whether or not he goes back to being a loyalist, but for now, I think he wants to give his apprentice a clean slate, especially when he's teaching his apprentice about morals and such. He doesn't want his apprentice to then ask uncomfortable questions about whether certain things that Fernstar is doing is right and why Shining Stripe supports him. So I think that's what's happening. And in terms of relationships, I did notice, I think a couple changes, but I'll go through really quickly with everyone's relationships. So for those of you who want to pause and take a look, you can do so. So with Fernstar, I didn't notice anything different with him. No changes over here. Nothing with Scorchmoss that is new or different. Nothing with Flailstorm that I noticed. Icicle Speck, things are the same for him. Inkfeather, things are still the same for her. Yeah, she is not exactly here to make friends, at least not right now. And I know some of you like with friendships and stuff, I feel like everyone has a different way of interpreting relationships and setting their own guidelines for like how they view friendships and stuff. I know some of you like to only look at the platonic like bar to see whether or not they're friends, but I do things differently. I just look for any green bar to say that they're friends. I think having different guidelines for friendships also creates some interesting relationships, right? With the platonic like, I typically view that as whether or not a cat views this other cat as a family member. Like to me, the platonic like is, are you close enough? Do I like you enough to view you as my family, whether or not we are related by blood? So the green bars that they have can mean they're friends, but maybe the platonic like means they're closer friends, like close friends, because, you know, they view them as family as well. That's just the way I like interpreting things, you know, otherwise I get overwhelmed. My brain gets overwhelmed. This makes it easier, especially because, like, I go through the series very quickly. I deal with a large number of characters and cats, and it is so hard to keep track of things when I look at every little nuance of their relationship, so I do tend to simplify some things. And like when I'm starting off a series as well, like in the first season, I'll pay more attention to things like the romantic likes and all of that kind of stuff. But I feel like as the seasons go on, then I stop paying attention to that. We'll see if it happens with Royal Clan, but that's kind of what happened with Luminous Clan. I stopped paying attention to the little things and stopped paying attention to like the big notices I get, like when someone does fall in love, you know, those kind of things, or when they are mated, and focus on those couples. That was a bit of a ramble. Bear Pelt, okay, this is where I noticed something. So Bear Pelt actually gained more romance with Shadefleck, and if you guys remember, that was because Bear Pelt, I think, was rambling to Shadefleck. I mean, he's shameless, so typically you'd think you shouldn't tell someone you're interested in that you're conflicted between them and someone else. But Bear Pelt is shameless. He doesn't think about those things. So he kind of confessed to Shadefleck that he was having conflicting feelings about Icicle Speck as well. And then because Shadefleck, I think, listened to him patiently and didn't make him feel bad about that, because Shadefleck is going through the exact same thing, being split between Icicle Speck and Bear Pelt's feelings for Shadefleck like grew even more because he found Shadefleck to be such an understanding cat. So there was that. Shining Stripe, I didn't notice anything of note with him. Flare Freckle, I didn't notice anything of note with her. Shadefleck, things are still the same for him. So yes, he listened to Bear Pelt, but that didn't necessarily change his feelings for Bear Pelt. Quillpaw, I mean, the Apprentices I don't really pay too much attention to, but you guys can have a look over here if you need to, or if you want to. Smokewater, nothing of note happened with him. Now, Buttercup Finn, we saw this in events, and I was so confused, but Buttercup Finn gained some more romance with Fernstar, with King Fernstar, and I think we talked about this. I reckon it is because she is looking at Inkfeather coming into the grotto, taking the title of consort, and now that the title of consort is in question, Buttercup Finn, she suddenly feels like that title doesn't belong to anyone but her. And I mean, she's childish, right? So I can see how her attention would go back to the king when she gets reminded that, oh, that's right, there is the title of consort. So that's probably what's happening with her, and I feel really bad for Flailstorm. Flailstorm, this is your fault. You should have just stayed with Scorchmoss, who actually was appreciating you and had, you know, proper feelings for you and wasn't getting, I mean, maybe a little bit. She was having admiration for Buttercupin, but that's besides the point. Largely, she was faithful to you. She's still in love with you. Whereas Buttercupin, she's just a bit of a, she goes back and forth quite a lot. But that's what we have for relationships. I kind of like that process a lot better than whatever we had in the last episode when I was doing relationships. Because last episode I just went in and was trying to like figure out as we were going. But I feel like that makes the video a lot longer. I start rambling and I can't get my thoughts together. Whereas this time around, I actually went through on my own. I noted down on my notebook like any things that I noticed, romances that were gained. And then I kind of just went through the cats so that you guys can pause, like quickly flicking through the pages and only stopping and talking at the ones that I had something to say for. So I think I like this method a lot better, guys. I think so. Okay, now that we have done that, let's go and see what everyone is doing for the day. King Fernstar saw a kitty pet with no fur at all. Scorchmoss is craving the taste of frog. Flailstorm saw some kitty pets playing with colorful moss balls. Icicle Speck saw some kitty pets playing with colorful moss balls. Okay, so Icicle Speck and Flailstorm are hanging out together. Inkfeather is looking forward to the next gathering. Bebhelt is not looking forward to the sparse hunting in Leaf Bear. Shining Stripe is worried Smokewater is overworking himself. Flare Freckle can't wait to take a nap later. Shadefleck cleans the clearing of fallen leaves. Coolpaw is wondering what the inside of a two-legged den looks like. Frostpaw is getting some looks after speaking out of turn during a clan meeting. He is definitely not getting those looks from Bearpelt. Bearpelt wouldn't care. He would be proud of his apprentice, if anything. Smokewater saw a two-legged kid playing with a dog. Buttercupfin had a nice chat with a loner outside clan territory. Excellent. And you know, for Flarefreckle, because her brothers have always been like so caring towards her and doting on her, I feel like she would feel so relieved that her sons are being trained by her brothers, because if her brothers take care of her so much, she knows they're going to take care of her sons. So I feel so warm and cozy and fuzzy inside. Oh my goodness. Okay, so that's all we have for the cat list. Let me cut the recording here and we'll continue with patrols. Time for us to resume with our patrols. We currently have 48.3 prey. We need 32, so we don't have to worry about hunting. Let's send out our Royal Physician Flailstorm first of all to see what he gets up to. Flailstorm is always amused by the plantain's enduring cheerfulness in the face of being trodden on, and it's nice that the plants grow with such enthusiasm right to the end of leaf fall. Proceed. Plantain isn't one of the plants that turns red and dies off in Leaf Bear. Its leaves are vibrantly green in Flailstorm's mouth as he carries them home through a territory, growing less and less green as leaf fall wears on. So Plantain was gathered, and the exciting part, the first ever patrols our apprentices are going to go out on. I'm very excited to see what their mentors have in store for them, because we're going to have a patrol of 6 and a patrol of 1. So let's have a look. Oh! Okay. that is very bold of Frostpaw, and very, I don't know if it's shameless, but I feel like it's very bold of Bearpill to allow this. Quillpaw, yeah, shining. This actually makes sense. Shining Stripe, the responsible, righteous one, you know, morally straight. He is gonna keep his apprentice with him. He takes this responsibility very seriously. He's going to keep his apprentice with him during his first patrol. And Flare Freckle is going to go there as well. We have Shadefleck, Scorchmoss, the king's right hand, and Bearpelt. When you ask Bearpelt where Frostpaw is, you know, Bearpelt, he's told Frostpaw that he can do a little patrol on the perimeter of the camp, not to wander too far, but he wants to see how bold Frostpaw can really be when he's out on his own. Okay, Bearpelt, I will have faith. This is Frostpaw's first patrol, and his mentor is allowing him to go out on his own. We'll see what this results in. But yeah, I think Bear Pelt, he's trying to get a measure of his apprentice, you know? He didn't mind when his apprentice spoke out during the gathering. He doesn't mind when Frostpaw has a patrol on his own or investigates the forest on his own. He wants to see how bold Frostpaw can really be. Okay. So on their way to mark the far corners of their forest territory, Scorchmoss starts telling a story of their ancestors to keep every cat entertained. Proceed. Shining Stripe takes Scorchmoss aside and reminds her coldly to focus on her duties. Oh, okay, so Scorchmoss was really trying to get into some of the clan lore, but Shining Stripe, maybe she was talking about clan lore and like previous kings and stuff, and Shining Stripe quickly came through and he's like, I actually wanted to, you know, say a few things to my apprentice. I had some ground rules to lay down for our patrols, and you're kind of distracting us with the story of yours that has nothing to do with safety. So I can totally see a Shining Stripe doing that. And finally, we have Frostpaw heading out, and I am so worried, but let's see what happens. Frostpaw is tempted to eat the prey he just caught. I'm so stressed because I know that there is a prompt where they can eat. I've actually had, I think in the very, very first clan I ever played, Feather Clan, on the channel. That was, I think, on a shipwreck by the beach. One of the apprentices, guys, had this exact prompt. They had a rat, they ate it, they got sick, and they died from the rat. So this stresses me out because we don't have anyone to tell Frostpaw whether or not this rat is okay. Like, I don't know. He's got no experience or anything. He's got no one to guide him. But I always proceed, so I have to. After all, he has caught enough on this solo hunt that he won't be able to carry it all back to camp. He stops for a quick snack and returns to the camp laden with prey for the fresh kill pile. A huge amount of prey is brought to camp. Okay, never mind. I had nothing to worry about. The forest is bountiful. The forest is fine. And Bear Pelt, I think. You know what else? Flare Freckle probably wouldn't question her brother Bear Pelt as much, even though this would be stressful. Like having her youngest son go out on his own, on his first patrol. Because Bear Pelt is the Bear Prince. So as a prince, people kind of, you know, revert to his experience and his capabilities, and they kind of trust in that. And I think Bear Pelt would have a very smug expression when he sees Frostpaw coming back to camp hauling like all of these rats, because like trying to shove these pile of rats towards camp very slowly but surely, because he's thinking, see, I told you he'd be fine. My apprentice is a bold one. Told you he'd be fine. So I love that. That is so good. And now we have 61.1 prey. And that was our very exciting, I feel like, episode this time round. I just loved everything about it. Centered around, you know, the uncles, the apprentices, and just, it was so great. It was amazing. It makes me feel so happy. It feels so, like I said, it's like there's a warm light inside my heart right now. I'm just overflowing with happiness at this point. But okay guys, with that said and done, I'm gonna leave off here. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.